Hi, and welcome to the Whittley factory here in Somerton today. We take a great deal of pride in building boats in Australia. It's something that my family's done for a very long time, since 1953. So come and join us as we go through a quick tour of our manufacturing process.
What we're looking at here is the hull mould. To give a brief explanation on it, we've got two-tone colours. So down the back there, my guys have taped up the area down here, which will be black eventually. They'll spray the white on first, so the rest of this mould will get sprayed white. They'll then remove the tape and they'll basically then spray the back part black. So that's how we get the two-tone part of the boat. That will be left overnight to dry, and then the next morning they will put an isothelic tie layer on it, which is extra protection for osmosis. These are the small parts for a 2380. Using the 2380 as our example today. This particular part here is our toilet area of the 2380. We have our targa bar. We have our floor lighter which sits within the boat. The process that has been applied here is the gel coat directly into the mould, and it is in its curing state at the moment. As we mentioned in the hull, the guys will then squirt Fiberglass on this, and there'll be a tie layer and then a main layer put into it. Once that is dried, we then take it down to our releasing area, which we'll cover off in a few minutes. We are now in our area we call the wood shop. This is where in the old days we do an awful lot of cutting on the bandsaw and machining up with circular saws. Now everything is computerized, and Ben operates our computer router. We're one of the few manufacturers in Australia that have our own computer router. It has a capability of a Z-axis which will enable us to actually make our models on it. So when we design a boat from new using CAD, we can actually make a model of 1/6 size, and then from that model we can dissect it and cut all our bulkheads and all that sort of thing using this machine here. What the boys have completed here is the main layup in the hull. You can see the darker shades around the outside of the hull are the core materials. They're currently putting the subfloor in it, and then they will completely encase all the fiberglass over the top of the timbers, and it creates a very, very strong hull. This particular unit that the guys are working on is a spy boat. We build a lot of spy boats for Performance Marine. They are very, very high performance, good wakeboard boats, good ski boats.
In the spy boat range, there's 4 different models. There's 2 21-foot models, which are more of a ski boat. There's a mid-mount 22, which is a crossover, and a rear mount 22, which are both crossover boats. The rear mount's slightly better for wakeboarding because it puts a majority of the weight at the back of the boat, which makes the wake a lot bigger.
And the guys are sanding it out now from one end to the other, and then they'll flow coat it and put a finish on it, so that when it is taken out of the mould, the underside of it is very clean and flow coated. We build about 1 to 2 of these a week. This is a hard top for our 2800. The reason that our moulds are an orangey reddy colour is so that my guys can see the thickness of the gel coat as they're spraying it into the mould. They use a depth gauge, but the colour also helps them from getting a thin spot. When they've finished laminating it up, we walk across under the cranes to here, which is the exact product that's come out of that mould. You can see the finish on the product is as good as our mould, and that's where Steve and I really pride ourselves, is on the quality of our pattern making and our mould making ability. These days we have to be very, very conscious of the weight of the boats, because they're towed by certain vehicles. For example, our 2800 needs to be under 3.5 tonne to be towed by a Land Cruiser, and equally our 26 needs to be under 3 tonne to be towed by a Navara and this and that sort of thing. So what we've come up, we use a lot of exotic cores to keep the boat strength up, but to make the boat lighter, and this is one of them. This is called a PVC core. It gets fiberglass on both sides, so it becomes very, very rigid as a core. Our storeroom consists of all the parts that are needed to make a boat. John gets them together off a big computerised, generalised list, and gets them in the form of a kit ready for the guys to build the boat. They've got their fuel hoses cut, their hose clamps supplied, right down to the last nut and bolt of the boat to build it. We import a bit of product ourselves from overseas where need be, but mostly we try to source from an Australian made product.
At any one time we'll have up to 10 boats out of the pre-assembly area, so hulls and decks are joined. That can be right from our little 1600 right up to our 28, which is what we're in here today, which is a flagship. As you can see, this boat's sort of halfway through its sort of build. It's had all its wiring done, it's about to have its windows put in, all its vinyl's been done, and obviously all the upholstery will come out from the upholstery shop shortly, and the motor as well will be fitted.
This is a partnership that we have with Volvo Penta. This one is a D4, what they call a D4, which has a pretty special leg on it, very, very strong, very, very suited to offshore work. This gentleman owned an older Model C Legend before, and he approached us to make this new 28 for him. Really specialised the boat for Western Australia. It has radar, GPS, the diesel motor, and an extra metre of fishing room over and above his 730. We partnered with Yamaha to do BMT packages, so we do the complete motor install, adjust the trailer, the boat leaves here totally tested. It's part of a really good quality assurance system that we work under. This is a new 200 F200 Yamaha. It's new technology with its variable valve timing. This is the first of the new breed of engines that we've installed here.
Here's a finished one. Let's go have a look inside. Okay, here we are today in our 2800. This is a flagship of our cruiser range. This particular model is powered by the 380 horsepower Volvo Penta stern drive. It's a new 6 litre, it's their latest generation engine. We've got a multi-function gauge up here from Volvo. We've got our Whittley Marine fish finder unit, electric anchor bow thruster, keyless fingerprint start, and also our latest technology touchscreen. So basically we can just turn all our lights on at the touch of a button on the digital screen. It's great, but also it controls our trim tabs and our electric sunroof. On this one's got a sliding wooden door, which is great for a little bit of privacy and stuff up in the front cabin. Just up under here we've got our an optional fridge, an esky. We've got a 120 litre fridge in there, twin burner gas metho stove. Now as we move through the boat, we've got a folding table here which folds down and makes a nice big double bed. We've got the Fusion TVD screen up the front fly screens, hanging wardrobe, and the best part about it, a dedicated toilet and shower area there on the left.
This is a new release that we released at the Melbourne Boat Show this year. It's a 24 Sea Legend. Its configuration has a Volvo Penta stern drive V6 in it. It comes complete motor, package and trailer together from the factory.
Here we are in our showroom facility, which is set up for our Victorian customers. At any one time we have up to 20 to 30 new boats, new Whittleys on display, from our flagship 2800 in the Fiberglass range right down to our smaller 1600 Clearwater here today. We find the showroom here is a great experience for people to come down and see their boat getting manufactured, but also see a full range of boats on display here. And with a good strong range of aluminium boats, spy boats, Clearwaters and our Whittleys, we've got something for everyone.